So, my dear devotees, it is the practice here on Ekadasi to read from my book, I'll Build You a Temple, the Juhu Story. And so I will continue reading from where we left off last time. This is October 1973 to January 1977, and the chapter is titled Facing Challenges. Prabhupada had been scheduled to go to Bangkok, but because of the importance of the work in Bombay, he decided to stay on and to send Brahmananda in his stead. I was delighted. We would get more of Prabhupada's association, guidance, and support. And he was confirming the great importance of the Juhu project. The day after writing to Governor Reddy, Prabhupada wrote to, quote, the people of Bangkok, Thailand, quote, quote, I am sorry I am not able to come, but I must remain here in Bombay for some pressing matters. So I am sending my secretary, His Holiness Brahmananda Maharaj, who will represent me. The Krishna consciousness movement is not sectarian. We want to do what the United Nations has failed to do. The human form of body is an opportunity for solving all the problems of life. Through evolution, we come to the human life for solving this problem. The real problem is the repetition of birth, death, disease, and old age. But there is another status of life where there is no birth, death, disease, and old age. The Krishna consciousness movement is the means for promoting the human being to that status. This is a great science, and it is elaborately explained in the Bhagavad-gita. So our mission is to give this benediction to all humanity. Let us cooperate together on this basis so that it will be a more effective United Nations. We shall be united on the basis of the prime need of human society, spiritual life, end quote. Under Prabhupada's guidance, we were pursuing the NOC, that means No Objection Certificate, and the permission to build on all fronts. Prabhupada himself was dealing with Governor Reddy to get through to the governor of Maharashtra. Bhagavan Das and I were dealing with the police commissioner, and Mr. Sethi was dealing with his friend Mr. Pai, who, like Matre, was a municipal councillor, to try to get the plans approved by the municipality. Eventually, Mr. Seti told Prabhupada that if we wanted the plans passed, we would have to pay something. We all knew that the officers and politicians in India were corrupt, and that practically nothing moved without a bribe. But we had never indulged in such practices and had never proposed doing so to Prabhupada. Although the municipal commissioner was a relatively small officer compared with the ministers, Mr. Seti told us his income from bribes was 20,000 rupees a day. Mr. Seti's son is here, Brij Mohan Seti. Huh? Oh, he left? Mr. Seti explained that initially only the officers were taking bribes, but that after some time the clerks and peons working in the office had started to demand them. They wouldn't take our file off the shelf unless you paid them something. They wouldn't process your file from one table to another unless you paid them. When news of this had reached the officers, they had been indignant and had summoned the clerks and peons and told them, "What is this nonsense that you are demanding money for doing this little service?" But the clerks and peons had said, "You are taking bribes for your work, so why shouldn't we take bribes for ours?" The officers hadn't been able to reply, and thus had been forced to condone the lower level corruption. Mr. Seti explained that a percentage of every bribe was paid higher and higher up, and that at the top, at least in theory, the Prime Minister herself received a portion of every bribe paid. The ward officer was accountable to the commissioner. The commissioner was accountable to the urban affairs minister. The urban affairs minister was accountable to the chief minister. And the chief minister was accountable to the prime minister. So any bribe paid somewhere along the line would have to be distributed upwards, and each person in the hierarchy receiving his or her share, with each person in the hierarchy receiving his or her share, so that the operation could work smoothly. When our application for the no objection certificate was again refused, Prabhupada and Mr. Seti concluded that we should apply for municipal permission without the temple, because only the temple required the NOC. And Mr. Seti felt confident that if we didn't have to get the NOC from the police, we could get the permission for the rest of the project, the residential quarters and preaching areas, from the municipal commissioner. So Prabhupada agreed that we give Mr. Sethi 5,000 rupees. Prabhupada called for a meeting with Bhagavan Das and me to discuss the whole affair. He discussed whether we thought Mr. Sethi had swallowed, meaning kept the 5,000 rupees, or whether he had given it to Mr. Pai and Pai had kept it. Whether we should give Mr. Sethi the additional funds. He discussed the matter with us all evening. And shortly after 8 until almost midnight, asking for our opinions. When we presented the view that we shouldn't give the money to Mr. Sethi, Prabhupada said why we should, and we became convinced. Then, when we were convinced that we should give the money, Prabhupada would present arguments why we shouldn't. And again we became convinced. There were so many factors to consider. Whether Mr. Sethi would give the money or the full amount to the commissioner, whether the commissioner, having taken the money, would give the permission, or whether he might take the amount and then keep asking for more. So many complexities. In this way, Prabhupada kept going back and forth. I started to doze off, but Bhagavan Das continued to listen attentively and respond. Finally, Prabhupada declared, "We will not do this." And it was concluded that we would not give Mr. Sethi the money. Then he stood up from behind his desk and walked out of the room, leaving Bhagavan Das and me stunned and exhausted. We looked at each other, offered our obeisances to Prabhupada's vacant asana, and retired for the night. The next morning, Bhagavan Das and I were a little apprehensive about how Prabhupada would present his decision to Mr. Sethi and how Mr. Sethi would take it. And we waited anxiously for Mr. Sethi to arrive in Prabhupada's room. As usual, he came around 10 o'clock and sat on the floor before Prabhupada. We all knew that he had come for the additional 5,000 rupees. "So what do you think?" Prabhupada asked him. "Should we do it?" "Yes," Mr. Sethi replied, "because otherwise we are not getting the permission." "All right," Prabhupada said without hesitation, just the opposite of the previous night's conclusion. And he arranged the money for Mr. Sethi. Bhagavan Das and I were amazed and somewhat bewildered by what had transpired. But then we considered what lessons we might have been meant to learn from the incident. One was that Prabhupada was training us to evaluate a situation from every angle. He had always said that intelligence means to see the same thing from different angles of vision. We also considered that he was teaching us not to be naive or ingenious with regards to even our best friends, such as Mr. Seti, but to always be cautious and careful. Further, we considered that by agreeing to give Mr. Seti the money, Prabhupada was showing that even though we should be alert to the possibility of cheating, we should give a good friend the benefit of the doubt. We should not offend or hurt him. And then we considered that the Juhu project was so important that even if the money was lost, it was worth taking the chance. Because somehow if we could get the permission, it would be wonderful for Srila Prabhupada's preaching and service to SriSriRadhaRasbihari. Ultimately, Srila Prabhupada was teaching us surrender. It is said that if the Guru tells the disciple that a rope is a snake, the disciple will respond, yes, it is a snake. And that if the Guru then says, no, it is a rope, the disciple will agree. This is a basic principle of obedience to the spiritual master. And Prabhupada was showing us that, like Lord Chaitanya, he could take any side of an argument and defeat any other. While working on getting the permission to build from the municipal corporation, Mr. Seti was also helping us build the additional floors on the existing buildings. But it appeared that some of the work and materials were below standard. Some of the wood was full of holes and defects. So Prabhupada directed us to oversee the work and materials more carefully. He had engaged Mr. Seti to supervise the construction and had put his trust in him. But it appeared that none of the work was being done that well, albeit some was passable. When the rotten wood came to the site, Prabhupada became very disturbed and chastised us. He quoted a Bengali saying that a goldsmith, while fashioning some gold his mother gave him to make a ring, thinks, should I use all the gold for the ring or put some in my pocket? This type of cheating was so much a part of the goldsmith's business. Prabhupada said that even if his own mother gave him gold to make an ornament, he would think, should I cheat and keep some for myself? Similarly, the construction business was such that someone in it would automatically think, should I make some extra money for myself? You could not engage in the business, procuring materials and paying bribes and getting permits, without some cheating, no matter whose money it was. On January 19th, Mr. Seti said that he would get the permission to build the project minus the temple in 2 or 4 days. And on the 3rd day, he got it. Prabhupada was jubilant and called for another cornerstone laying ceremony. He had already held a groundbreaking and cornerstone laying ceremony when we had first moved to the land in March 1972, and another ceremony on Ram Navami 1974. But he wanted one now to signify the beginning of the main construction. He devised a festival, wishing to invite all our life members and friends in Bombay. Quote, immediately you make a ceremony tomorrow, end quote, he directed, comma, quote, and then the next day I will leave. We informed whatever members we could, especially the intimate ones like Kartikeya Mahadevya and Mr. Vashisht, a retired school principal living in Juhu, whom Prabhupada had initiated at Dikshit Das, and who spoke at the ceremony. Some of the neighbors, and of course Mr. Seti. With his own hand, Prabhupada applied the mortar around the cornerstone and fixed it in the bricks. Then he spoke about his mission. Quote, I'll not take much of your time, but I shall try to convince you what is the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement. The purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement is to save the human society from becoming animals, cows and asses. People have established, as stated in the Bhagavad-gita, an animal or asuric civilization. The beginning of asuric civilization is pravritim cha nivritim cha janana vidur asura. In the asuric demonic civilization, people do not know in which way they have to guide themselves for gaining the perfection of life. Pravriti and nivriti, what is favorable and unfavorable. Pravritim cha nivritim cha jana navidur asura. Naso cham napi chachar hi. There is no cleanliness, not good behavior. Na satyam teshu vidyate. And there is no truth in their life. This is the beginning of demonic civilization. Satyam, there is no truthfulness. And the first class life means the Brahman life. Satyam Socham. The beginning is Satyam. The Asuric life is no Satya, no truth. And the first class life in human society, the Brahmins, is Satyam. And Tapa Socham Kshantir Arjavam Eva Cha Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam. Our Krishna consciousness movement is to create a class of ideal first-class men with Satyam, Socham, Tapas, Sama, Dhamma, Titiksha. This is godly civilization. And this godly civilization can be given to the whole world by India. That is India's special privilege. And we have selected this Bombay city. Bombay is the best, most advanced city in India. The people here are very nice, religiously inclined, opulent. They can take up better things very nicely. Therefore, I wanted to start this center, Bombay, for spreading this Krishna consciousness movement. Although there have been many impediments in my endeavor, still, ultimately, it is Krishna's business. It will come successful. So today, the foundation and cornerstone establishment was done 2 years before, but there were many, many impediments from the asuras, Asuric Jana people. Now, some way or other, we have got a little relief from such impediments. So we are putting this cornerstone this auspicious day, and I am very glad that you have joined us. So the mission is very, very authorized, and it comprehends a large jurisdiction of activities. Therefore, my request is that the inhabitants of Bombay, especially those who are our members, kindly take active part to make this institution successful in Bombay. So many ladies and gentlemen are present here. Whatever we are doing is not whimsical or mental concoction. It is authorized and just to the standard of Bhagavad-gita. So make this center successful, you ladies and gentlemen of Bombay. We have got very nice place. We are building so that you can come and stay here, at least on the weekend. Those who are retired, elderly ladies and gentlemen, can come here and stay. We will have sufficient place. But try to organize these principles of Bhagavad-gita all over the world. That will be the gift of India. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired that anyone who has taken birth in India as a human being, Bharata Bhumi Te Hoila Manusya Janma Yar, Janma Sartha Kare Kara Para Upakar. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, Chapter 9, Text 41. Anyone who has taken his birth as a human being in India, Bharat Bhumi, first of all, make your life successful. Because you have got the standard how to make life successful. Here is Bhagavad-gita. Try to understand it, make your life successful, and then broadcast this message all over the world. That is paropakar, working for the benefit of others. India's people are meant for paropakar, not for exploiting others. This is not our mission, but actually that is being done. Everyone goes out of India to exploit. Now, for the first time, India is giving something to the outsiders, the spiritual knowledge. And the proof you can see, we are giving, we are not taking. We do not go to beg, give me wheat, give me money, give me this, give me that. No. We are giving something substantial, and they are feeling obliged. Otherwise, why these young men and girls are after this Krishna consciousness movement? They are feeling something, that they are getting something tangible. So it has got potency, very good potency. They are not feeling like Americans or Canadians or Australians. And we are not feeling as Indians. On the spiritual platform, we are one. So this is a great culture, Bhagavad-gita as it is. Those respectable ladies and gentlemen present here, make this center very successful and come here and study Bhagavad-gita as it is, without any foolish interpretation. I say foolish again and again because interpretation is not at all required. Everything is clear from the very beginning. So try to understand Bhagavad-gita as it is, make your life successful, and spread this message all over the world. You will be happy, and the world will be happy. I am a very old man now, 80 years old. My life is finished. But I want some respectable Indians, and combined with people from other countries. Other countries are giving good cooperation. Otherwise, it would not have been possible to spread, for me to spread in such a short time, only 7 or 8 years, to preach this cult all over the world. So I require the cooperation of the Indians, especially the educated young men. Come forward, stay with us, study Bhagavad-gita. We haven't got to manufacture anything. And what we can manufacture, we are all imperfect. Whatever is there, let us study it and practically apply it in life and spread the message all over the world. So today is a very auspicious day. With great difficulty, we have got now sanction. Now please cooperate with this attempt as far as possible with your pranayar, arthayar, diya, vacha. 4 things. By your life, by your words, by your money. Pranayar, arthayar, diya, vacha, shreya, archanam. Not that because I am a poor man, I cannot help this movement. No. You have got your life. So if you dedicate your life, that is all perfect. If you cannot dedicate your life, give some money. But if you are a poor man, you cannot give money, then give some intelligence. And if you are a fool, then give your words. So in any way, you can help this movement and do welfare activities for India and outside India. That is my request. I welcome you. And you study. We have got now enough books. There is no difficulty to study our books. We have given an English translation. Every gentleman knows English. And we are going to give in Hindi, Gujarati, and other languages. Our friends have already begun translating. So there will be no scarcity of knowledge. Please come here, sit down at least once in a week, study all these books, try to understand the philosophy of life, and spread it all over the world. This is the mission of Bharatvarsha. This is Paropakar movement, to do welfare for others. Not like cats and dogs, simply bring money and enjoy the senses. This is not human life. Human life is for Paropakar. People are in ignorance, without knowledge of God, without the ideal of life. They are simply working like cats and dogs and hogs. They should be educated. Human life is a chance for getting such education. And this is the center for educating the human society to become actually human being and make his life successful. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. The next day, January 24th, after staying in Juhu for almost 3 months and finally getting permission to build, Srila Prabhupada left for Hong Kong. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki jai. Hare Krishna. So yeah, there are a lot of nice pictures. All right, thank you very much for listening so patiently and attentively. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna.